Hey y'all, sorry for not being consistent. I've just been dealing with a lot of depression over the past week and a half. That's why I haven't been doing this stuff as commonly as I normally would. But I want to talk about, I suppose, it's think of this as probably like a follow up video, right, from my imposter syndrome video. It's that feeling of just being alone in a crowded room. It's that feeling of feeling like even when you're around people, you are to yourself. There's everyone else, and then there's just you. You don't really see it as you, and then that person, then that person, then that person, then that person, then that person. You just see it as you and everyone else, and that's it. Like it's almost like a very black and white thing. You don't really see the shades of gray, the complex shades of gray, the complexities that lie in the in human beings. You have a goal, or there's something that you've always wanted to do, and you say you're going to do it, and then maybe either you're giving it all you got, or maybe this is where I'm at, the second one coming up, where I'm not doing as much as I could be, or I feel that I'm not doing as much as I could be. And that's a hurtful feeling. It's a very painful feeling when it just feels like, compared to everyone else, your brain goes, huh, well, I guess we're full of it then, huh? Like we're just, we're pretenders, we're liars, we're fakers, we're making this all up as we go along, and hoping that it looks like we've got it all together, but we don't. And I want to tell these people that seem to have it all together that I do have it all together, and I don't. And then it leads to a train of thought that leads you to physically manifest a show. You become a showman of sorts. You become someone who has to show themselves, who has to always be performing. It leads you to making very performative choices, in having those kinds of behaviors that where you feel like you need to keep trying to impress people, and yet you don't impress yourself. And then we're all our own harshest critics. But I've really just been dealing with a case of, well then, man, like, you ain't nothing. You are full of it. The things you say you're going to do, well, guess what? Your friends are doing it, and you're not. How does that feel? And that messes with me a lot. Because I've been dealing with this insecurity of feeling like, well, I gotta be either on the level that my people are on, or I gotta be on the level above. There is no under. I can't afford to allow myself to feel like I'm behind in any way. And it's that competitive, like selfishly competitive behavior that really does keep you behind and keep you in a cycle of self-loathing. Because when I lost my job, I was just falling into a depression, and it felt like a few of my friends, they're getting better in their lives, and meeting new people, and experiencing new things, and I just feel like I'm not at that level with them anymore, to where it feels like I'm the guy that they could come talk to. Now they're the ones giving me advice, and my ego comes up, and it feels like, who the heck do you think you are? You think you're better than me or something. But I don't go out acting like that, because I try to force myself to listen, because I know that even though I don't want to hear that right now, because I feel like I'm the one that should be the guy that's able to give advice. I want to be the guy that everyone can come to, not the other way around. It hurts, but I know that, again, I need to listen to that advice, so that way I can make my life better and try to apply it in a way that isn't negative and working against me, but rather working for me or working with me. And that can get complicated when you got friends, and if or family, people that you care about, that care about you, and they're at a certain level. You knew each other on a certain wavelength, and now they're a few steps ahead, and you're like, and then if it keeps feeling like you're taking 3 steps back for every step you take, you wonder to yourself, I feel like, am I inadequate? Like, am I deserving of this friend's time, of their, like, what do I do here? Like, it don't feel like I'm supposed to be here with them anymore. And that is a tough feeling to contend with, because then it leads you into a very selfish, I feel like, to me, it feels like now I'm just being a prick. I'm just being selfish. Now I'm being petty. Even though it's all started off innocent. It never started off with the intent of being a hater. It started off with just, I want to have this thing for myself, and I would like to have that someday. And then you see that people getting it faster than you, and you're trying to work, you're trying to do what you can, and it feels like life's not catching up with you. If you know, it feels like you're one of the last things the universe is thinking about. And I try to remind myself that's not true, but as the days goes along, I'm losing more and more hope. I spent my entire life giving everything I have to people that don't seem to care. I did that for people in school when they wasn't thinking about me, but I cared about them. I did that for my family, where I was the breadwinner and didn't feel like I was appreciated for a few years. And now I'm with my, with my friend's family, and it feels like I'm the outcast. It feels like I'm not supposed to be there. Like I mean, I'm not family, but there's a lot of things that I could use some leniency on because of my situation that I don't get to have that leniency on. It's a bit of a shame, really. Regardless, it all leads me to think that, like, no matter where I walk, I am truly alone. I don't think my friends would understand. I mean, they would, but every time I try to talk to them, the conversation gets cut off by something outside of it, and I stop caring. I talk to my mom, but it don't like it satiates me for the meantime. But ultimately, when I hang up that phone, because I'm not right next to her every second of my day, it's just, yeah, man, you're alone. And then when I'm working, it gives me too much time to think, and then I start thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and then I could have good days, and then sometimes a feeling could just hit me, and then I'm working with these people, and I'm like, yo, like, why is it no matter where I'm at, I'm by myself from the feels of it, keep in mind, because I'm aware that I'm not alone. I'm not, but it feels like I am. Things are going good for my brother. Um, my friends are trying to do some stuff and trying to figure out what they got going on, and I dabble in some stuff. I write poetry. I do this, but man, ain't nobody listening to any of that. Everyone's got their own stuff, and everyone's got their own story to tell, and it's hard feeling like you don't have any room to be the main character, because it feels like no matter where you are, it almost feel like that's not your job to be the main character. Almost feels like the universe is trying to tell you, well, your role is a supporting character and stay in your place. And that much isn't true. Probably. Not sure. Maybe not. But it feels that way. It feels that way. And it's a scary feeling. It's scary feeling like no matter what you do, no one's going to listen. Nobody's going to see you for who you are. And even if they do, it feels like you don't get the way I think, because we think different. And I need you to see it the way I see it for a second, especially when it's easy for me to see things the way you see it. Sometimes being overly empathetic for people, you so compassionate and understanding towards people that you forget what it's like to have that for yourself, or you might never know what that's like. And that is a painful feeling, where it feels like you're really alone. You don't know yourself, and you trying to figure that out. And ironically, it feels like The time when I'm most myself is when I'm busy showing support and love to other people, when it's deserved anyway. Because it feels like I'm being of service when I do stuff for people, when I give to people. I do things for people that, that I would do things for. Because now my ego is no longer at play. Now I'm giving to others. It's not my, like, I can remove my ego, drops, my shame drops, my insecurities just fade away the moment I go and help others. But the moment I remove myself from people, I'm like, yo, you ain't nothing, dog. You pathetic. You can't even be alone with yourself for longer than maybe a work day, and that's it. Other than that, like, you still surrounded by people. You don't even know what you like when you by yourself. Mm, mm. Tough pill to swallow, even tougher to admit out loud, knowing that people might see this. Being alone in a crowded room is hard. Even when you're not, that feeling's always there unless you could break through somehow. Stay strong.